Hey guys, welcome to the 3-year anniversary of the Alex Ferraro Show. But this is not just an anniversary. Oh no, my friends, it is also a crossover. For today, we have one of the greatest podcast anchors of all time in this well. He's from UB. He has a bachelor's in theater design tech production, is going back for more. He has also gone to N Trip, and he was the former co-anchor slash recurring guest and still recurring guest on the Alex Ferraro Show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my good friend Connor Donnellan.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back. So, I've been doing some absolutely crazy shit. I have not been doing my own podcast because it's just gotten way too busy, but we are hoping that we're going to get some new episodes soon. So, ta-da. Um, so with that, Alex, happy 3-year anniversary.
Hey, thank you, man. Yeah, for those who don't know, Connor and I both started this together. So let's put it this way. So the way I put it, and it was the best way too, because for those who don't know it, this podcast was not always an educational podcast. It was
No,
a
it was
comedy.
not.
It was not. And I was vulgar as hell. I mean, for most of these episodes, I don't say more than like fuck shit or like bitch like once an episode. But back then, like this was back in 2021, I was like a primal being. I was like dropping F words every 5 seconds. I was
Every
using
five
the
seconds, it was every third word.
right. And I even said like the C word once, the like P word. It was like I was talking about like sleeping with strangers. It was weird.
I'm pretty sure he was on a lot of drugs while we were doing.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely more than just marijuana, but how can I remember? My mind was so warped.
Mind fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, you know how like in Super Mario they have like the mushrooms that like blow up? Well, basically it's almost like they have those like illegal magic mushroom bars that have the same Super Mario label of the mushroom blowing up because it's mind warping.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
So
And I don't speak from experience either.
all right. So Alex has a little bit of an itinerary that he'd like to cover. I think that's a great idea. So Alex, what's first on your itinerary?
So I was thinking we could catch up with each other and see how life's been since we started this podcast. So I guess I'll start. So recently I got hired at McDonald's around June. That was fun as hell. Probably the best job I've had so far because some of the people like just are the funniest. Like there's this one manager I have who almost laughs like a duck. She laughs like so when like
Quack, quack.
when she'll be walking by, I'll go like
Okay.
yeah.
You see, now we could have made that joke if Robert was in on this too, and because we have started recording through Discord, and Discord has a soundboard in it that has a duck noise. So just every so often in our episodes, there's just quack. That there's just literally that's what we use to like break the silence. It's literally just if one of us is like taking too long to answer, just the other one just quack.
Right.
It's-
Just going back and forth, have like a Donald Duck, Daffy Duck, Hungarian Rhapsody, like speech impediment, speech impediment.
yeah. So Alex has gone to McDonald's in
Yeah,
3 years. In 3 years, Alex has gone to McDonald's.
yeah. I've learned how to
Uh,
flip hamburgers, drop fries in baskets and deep fryers, and cook chicken.
is that useful for your own cooking?
No, because I mean I
There
can
it is.
totally like cook by myself, so it's pretty much like putting like paper on a rock, you know. You know, because like if you put paper underneath a
No,
rock,
I know,
it's
I
not going to
know.
go anywhere. But if you put paper on a rock, it's going to
It
blow
just
away.
blows away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Or I guess I could have also said pissing in the wind. That's a good term. A lot of people, expression a lot of people use, I think.
Well, in 3 years, my podcast has gone from one host to two hosts to four hosts, um, to a weird co-host and a sideline reporter. to
Oh,
Celine to two co-hosts. It was,
wow. You got it all figured out for you, don't you?
no, I do not. And I'm still trying to figure out how the hell I'm doing it. Um, but I got a new job. Podcast is still going, but I did get a new job, and I'm very happy with it. I've been there for about a month and a half now. Um, making the big bucks.
Yeah.
But I'm also working like 6 days a week. Um, which also feels like a part-time job. Um, I bought a new car. The Kia has died.
Oh,
It
poor
it, it
Kia.
is it is gone. Um, but I did end up buying a new car that I am very, very happy about. Because this thing is like, to quote my grandmother, it has all the bells and whistles and switches and dials.
Oh,
Um, which I'm not sure how many switches she thinks are in a car, but we can let her think that.
or you could always just send her to Stevens driving school at Cardinal O'Hara. I think they only charge like 15 an hour for a class for like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, that would not work out with this person because they
Yeah.
are scared to drive.
Yeah. For those who don't
Um,
know, Connor's IKEA had like one of those mini college dorm room parties inside. It was insane. He had like a disco ball. He had like ultraviolet lights booming from like his speakers. It was insane.
but no, it was a good car. It lasted me way longer than I thought it was gonna that I than I thought it was going to. Um, I had that Kia. That Kia was probably on its last legs when I bought it, and it lasted me for 6.5 years. Um, so 6.5 years, quite a long time for especially a used car. Um, but this car that I bought is also 10 years old. Um, but instead of 100,000 miles when I bought the Kia, this one has 68,000 miles on it. Oh, for fuck's sake! You
I
uh,
just had to do it. Sorry. Go ahead, please.
this car has 68,000 miles on it on a 10-year-old car. That is like brand new
Yeah.
in terms of used cars. That is brand new. Fuck you.
Oh, it's too good. See, this is the kind of energy we had back on the Alex Ferraro show. It was like so good. Like Connor, I was like Connor was the comic timing. I was just the comedic goofball. Like I was like my inspiration, my moose was like Chris Farley because like obviously like we look nothing alike, but we both had that same kind of comedic energy where we were just slapstick and super goofy.
Yeah, so that's been my life in the last 3 years, has been kind of just that. So um
You're a working man, good busy man. That's good.
yeah,
So yeah, I wanted to get into like more into the Alex Ferraro show because again, most of this wouldn't have happened if it weren't for you because this was back in 2021 when I was 18 and hardly knew jack about like IT or anything like that when it came to recording and audio.
this kid
So
knew nothing
yeah,
at all.
the most I knew was how to title each episode and which episode it was going to be for which season and everything and whether there was going to be explicit content.
Just so you know, when I was editing our thing, if it didn't have explicit content in it, I still put explicit because I'm pretty sure I missed an F-bomb somewhere.
Oh yeah.
It was
Well, Well, yeah, I mean, I remember there was even one like during that period where I was a guest on the list, and it was just Connor and I because his co-anchor um Robert
dipped.
was yeah. So I remember like Connor's like I'm like, is there any filters? He's like, no, be as explicit as you want. I'm like, okay. And then one of the first things I say is like, yeah, it's like when that porn star Mia Khalifa gave a guy a blowjob. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, we're cutting that.
Yeah, I cut that very quickly.
Yeah.
Um,
So all you hear is like a
when I said explicit, that wasn't what I meant. Um,
right. So basically when I say that, so it's like, yeah, it's like when boo, he's like, yeah, we're cutting that.
Yeah, and it in that episode, it literally came out as like it's like, yeah, it was like that one time that beep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're cutting that. And I left that, yeah, we're cutting that in because I thought that was hysterical.
Yeah. It's, I mean, you have to, because then it's like they don't understand the context if you don't, right? Then it's like, what did they just leave the beef for? Just to be obnoxious?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
yeah.
basically, so the way I see it was like, so anyone who watched Breaking Bad, that's my favorite dramatic TV series of all time. Bryan Cranston, the lead role for Walter White, he won 6 Emmys for that role. And so he describes himself as Heisenberg, and his sidekick Jesse Pinkman. The way they have it for season one too is that Walt is the cook, the number one cook. And then Jesse Pinkman is just the side gig, like mule or whatever to dispose of the drugs or distribute them, whatever. And so that's how it was for Connor and I. Connor was
I
Walter
was
White.
about to
He
say,
was,
imagine making drugs. Imagine making drugs and then just taking them and just throwing them out.
yeah, yeah, like here goes your like thousands of dollars worth of drugs, all for nothing, just for shits and giggles. So Connor, he basically did like 97% of the work. So he was the
I'm
cook.
gonna
I
say
was the
98%, but
Okay, yeah,
okay.
that's fair. Or
Because I
here, I'll meet you
posted
at
them as
90.
well.
I'll meet you at 99.5%. How's
I'll
that?
take it
Okay,
because that's a higher
done.
number than
Deal.
87 or the number that I said. I'll take
Yeah.
it.
There we go. So Connor was basically Walter White, the cook. You know, he handled distribution, he handled editing, the production, technically any costs that there were with distribution, although I don't think we really had any because we kept it like kind of safe through like the free ones like Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and the other RSS feeds that were associated with Spotify. So I think the only thing I was really paying Connor for was mostly just like the editing, because editing, especially when Connor works on editing, because he does a hell of a good job. Where as I just like open like a little joint and just smoke and sit back for like a couple hours, say, okay, I'm done, then just upload it. He puts like 2 or 3 hours into each episode that he
Uh-huh.
edits, so it's a hell of a lot of work.
So,
So I'd pay him like $50 per like episode, which was very fair, by the way.
so the thing was with him, and just so you know this, the money that you paid me, half of it, I took like if you paid me like 50, half of it went to me for the time that I was editing. The other half went to the subscription for Zoom because Zoom was like $18 at the time for a month.
Yeah.
And Robert and I didn't use Zoom. So the only reason why I had the subscription was you. So that's where the other half of the money went. But it was so really you were not that you need to pay me any more money. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that any money that you did pay me, I took like no more than 50% of what you gave me to do that entire thing. The rest of it went to like your like stuff that you would have actually like needed to buy in the first place. So you're good. No
Yeah.
worries.
Yeah. So yeah, of course. And so even now though, like it's ridiculous. They like the inflation side of like Zoom, because now I have to pay like 160 a month. So the way I'm having this
T-
like podcast
okay, no,
recorded,
time out, time out. How are you paying 160 a month?
I don't know. I mean, or maybe okay, maybe I got it wrong. I mean, I'd have to like check
Because
my.
because you might be paying 160 a year. You're not paying 160 a month.
Oh, maybe it probably was the year then, because I was gonna say, I just what the problem was I forgot what date it expired, so that's why like I have to wait till I get enough money in my next paycheck so I can renew it. Because the only way, guys, like this is episodes being recorded is no thanks to Connor through his Zoom, so kudos to him for
Which
that
is the
too.
one that I personally pay for.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But aside from production side, we had some pretty interesting guests on the show too. Like we
We
had
did.
that one
We did.
one guy, Fedora Lord, he was pretty interesting, who wore like a fedora every single day to Niagara
He
University.
wore fedora every single day. But my first question to him, and I remember this, my first question to him was, if he had headphones to like do the podcast, because you did the podcast in your dorm room with him and
Yeah.
he did it on his phone in the same room and it just kept echoing each
Oh, I
other.
remember that. Yeah.
It was my first question to him while you were wandering around in the hallway trying to find somewhere quiet was, if you if he had did he have a fedora that would fit headphones over it?
Yeah. You know what the funny thing is too? It's like I remember one of the people like straight up walked up to him one day just out of nowhere, and they're like, "So if you're the fedora lord, does that mean you shower naked with a fedora?" And he's like, sometimes."
This dude fucks in a fedora.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, he had like so many different colored ones. It was mostly like purple or green, but then I also remember he had like red, black, orange, the works. Um, and then who else? Oh my God, one of our best recurring characters, Nathan Beams, who we're still good friends with to this day. He's always fucking awesome to have on the Alex Ferraro show, whether it was for education or comedy, because like, oh man, like his timing was like so good, you know,
His
and
timing was like that.
and
It
I
was
loved it.
good
Yeah,
every time.
and I loved his monotone voice he had, you know, like it's just like that's what makes it even better when you have those comedians who they don't like their tone doesn't change up or down, like it never dilates, it just stays on the same key, and that's like so perfect to like listen to.
I think there was one more
Oh
that
yeah.
was a recurring character.
Yes, there was. So obviously there was you since as both the co-anchor and recurring character, and also you appeared during the I guess we'll call the comedic history of the Alex Ferraro show the Stone Age, while we'll refer to the educational period as the Bronze Age. So you've appeared in both the Stone Age and Bronze Age of the Alex Ferraro show. So that makes you the overall recurring character to the Alex Ferraro show. So congratulations for that.
I don't know why. I just like that term. I just like the recurring character term.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, recurring character plays a significant key in TV shows. That's what they use. It's the equivalent to supporting. And as you know, supporting characters come second in importance to the plot after the lead role. So in this case, with me being like the anchor, the overall like main anchor of the Alex Ferraro show slash like host, like I would essentially be the lead since I carry the show, also why you call me anchor. And then Connor, because he was both like a recurring character and a guest anchor. That makes him like the Deuter agonist. So Doi is the Greek suffix for two, so that means he was the second most important character to the plot overall. Pretty much, if this were like a TV show, you know?
Now that we got that out of
Yeah,
the
I know. I said a mouthful. Yeah.
way.
Um.
So I have one question for you.
Sure.
Well, it might turn into two. I don't know.
Okay.
But I think my first question is, you wanted a comedy podcast. First thing you wanted with the Alex Ferraro show was a comedy podcast. Why did you want to change it to educational?
That's a good question. So, as you know, and many like fans and supporters of the Alex Ferraro and the Alex Ferraro show as a whole, I love how I referred to myself as the Alex Ferraro and not just Alex Ferraro, the Alex Ferraro.
This
Well, it's just funny how like
he's
Spotify
saying it
has,
like he's a local
yeah,
celebrity, yet
I know, right?
half the
It's like because
internet
on
doesn't know who he
Spotify,
is.
yeah, it's funny because on Spotify, it's just funny as hell. As you know how they have like the title of the podcast, and then it says by like the creator or like the producer. So for me, it just says the Alex Ferraro Show, and that just says Alex Ferraro underneath. So I thought it would be
See, I
funny for
figured
shits
that
and
out.
giggles.
I figured that out. When we first started on the list, because we didn't want to have our names on it.
Yeah,
Well, we did want to have our names on it, but we didn't want to have like it written on our name. So Rob and I started thinking about this, and we came up with this, like, what is the most common thing that you see on the list? And it was bullet points.
yeah,
So our podcast is literally, according to Spotify, and Spotify for podcasters or whatever, our technical title is on the list by the bullet points. So it worked out. It worked out
Yeah.
really well.
And
I think my other question, now that you've sprouted that information, why did you turn why'd you go from comedy to education comedy to 5 minute stand-up bits?
oh, well, I just not to correct you on it, it's a big difference, but it's actually 1 minute stand-up bits each because my mind can't like go more than like a minute without thinking of like too many funny lines. But anyways, so the reason was because okay, so everyone like really loved the Alex Ferraro show when it was complete comedy, us too. And then like at that
Yes,
point
us
though,
fucking around for an hour was
yeah, I
surprisingly
mean,
popular.
yeah, who doesn't want to listen to that? I mean, like each episode got more than like 100 plays and stuff. But the problem was, it's like I was like a locomotive. So once I,
98 of them were Alex, but
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah,
besides the
of
point.
course, yeah, nope, not at all. Just ignoring that. So, anyways, though, all kidding aside, so like I just ran out of like ideas and stuff, and like my mind started to go numb because like at that point my mind was like going into like a chronic depression. So when like you have depression, it like slows down like your brain functions and everything, and including your psychomotor ones, and that makes it difficult for you to really think. So I just couldn't really keep up with the comedy like when I was depressed. So I figured at least then like I could try to transition to education and comedy. So if I wanted some comedic episodes, I could still have them, but try to transition more to education. And then by that point, people started to end up getting really giving me really good reviews on like the education part, and they wanted more of that in comedy. So then I decided to switch over to education, and it ended up turning out really well because again, like for those who don't know, like my depression is almost completely cured thanks to the works of medicinal marijuana, which I purchased from Honey at Kenmore. You should definitely go there. Even one of my friends works there. It's really cool. So, anyways, though, so by that point, I was like, I love the education gig so much. I was like, I want to like keep this because I'm inspiring like all my friends and family. And then when I realized that my brain cells were coming back to the point where I could make some comedy, I was like, instead of like going back to making the Alex Ferraro show comedy, why not just do stand-up comedy for like a minute like per episode and just think of whatever the hell you want to think of. So I did that, and I just figure like even if I don't use it nearly as much as the Alex Ferraro show, I can still keep it in the back just in case I want to do anything with it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I can see your reasoning on that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Um, all right. So speaking of comedy,
Yeah.
we're gonna take a minute break. Let us catch our breath real quick,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna play an on the list favorite.
Oh, yes.
All right. So with that, we'll be right back.
All right.
All right, we are back, and we're gonna play an on the list favorite. Now, the on the list favorite, for those of you that don't know, is a game that we like to call Over or Under, but its full name is Overrated or Underrated. Now, here's how this works: the listener is always wrong, but anyways, Alex and I will give a prompt. Alex and I will have to decide if it's overrated or underrated. If we don't agree, we have to give some kind of reason why. It's either the real reason or a bullshit one, but if you manage to change the other person's idea, you win. Okay?
Gotcha.
So, Alex,
Yes.
overrated or underrated? PBS.
Ooh, definitely underrated. Underrated for sure. And you want me to tell you why?
I'd love to tell you.
Because number one, I was one of those kids who watched PBS Kids all the way up from 4 or 5 to like 11 or 12. That's how good it was. That was my whole like kid pre-tween years. I didn't do no adult networking like Adult Swim or Cartoon Network or anything like that. Just straight up PBS Kids.
All right, now I'm going to tell you why you're wrong.
Oh, let's hear it.
So, PBS overrated. Now, the crazy thing about this is I'm going to say that PBS is overrated. However, NPR underrated. Same thing. One's visual, one's audio. Um, but as a kid, I did not. There was only one show that I watched on PBS, and it was Super Y.
Super Y. Yes, I loved that show.
Now, the the rest of them did not like them at all. Did not like Between the Lions. Did not like fucking Word Girl. Did not like any of them. Did not like it. I'll admit I was a sucker for Sesame Street, but that was when I was like 2. But there was
Who's not a sucker for Sesame Street? I feel like everyone's a sucker for Sesame Street. Did I say Sesame Street? I
yes, you
meant
did.
Sesame Street. Fuck.
That's gonna end up as a TikTok now.
Oh
Uh,
no. Alex Ferraro's a pedophile. No. Uh,
well, that's getting cut. That
good. Yeah, that'll get cut.
it might
See?
not. I don't know.
Oh, we'll see. But no, but
Might
yeah,
not.
I will say I wish they kept Zaboobafoo on PBS Kids longer because I like that better than Wild Kratts.
All right. Overrated or underrated? Reading the instructions.
Oh, that's definitely overrated for sure. And I'll tell you why. Like last week I just finished setting up my brother's doorknob because for some reason it fell out because it was old. Maybe the person before didn't lube it well enough. Sometimes I feel when you lube up a shaft it's pretty good after. Anyways, no
Okay.
context needed there. So, anyways, it only took me like 2 minutes to assemble the fucking thing, and I barely had to look at the instructions, so definitely overrated.
Here's where you're wrong.
Oh, wrong
So
again. Wrong-o.
reading the instructions, underrated because it saves you so much time. But watching someone not read the instructions, underrated
Oh yeah.
because then they start making sexual innuendos about doorknobs.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. I see what you did there. You pulled me into it. It's like a
I
pull-on
I
pull
I, lit-
job.
I
Oh,
So what I did was I brought you right here. I brought you right here and then just punched you straight in the face. That's what happened.
yeah.
Okay?
All right.
Overrated or underrated? Smashing watermelons.
I mean, I know I've smashed more than watermelons in my lifetime, probably some mangoes and peaches on the way, pretty nice. Anyways, but smashing watermelons, I'd say that's got to be underrated, right? Because there's so much fun you can do with smashing a watermelon. Either you can like smash it with your bare hands if you're strong enough, you can smash it with a baseball bat, a jackhammer. You could probably even get one of those pogo sticks and jump on top of them.
This dude is pulling out a pneumatic appliance to blow up a watermelon.
Just here's one thing you don't do with a watermelon. Don't cut a hole in a watermelon for you know what, and then stick it in the oven. It's not a good idea.
What the fuck is this game? Like,
I just love seeing your facial reactions to every perverted thing I say.
you see,
Oh my God.
this is why we do video podcasts over audio
Yeah.
podcast. Because this in audio form is lost.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say underrated because Gallagher is one of my favorites. The dude that literally has made an entire following by smashing watermelons with a hammer.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Overrated or underrated? Instagram.
Ooh,
Hot
damn.
topic.
Well,
Hot topic.
yeah, it is. I mean, see, for like me being like a micro influencer on Instagram, having like less than 100 followers, I definitely want to say that I could agree where people say it's overrated. I still think it's underrated though, just because they've added a lot of new perks and they're definitely making it like much higher, like above and beyond like
He has
Facebook.
98 followers.
Yeah, 98 followers. Yeah. And I'm only following like 94, so
I have 396.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna say for the amount of time that I spend on it, underrated. For the amount of the same shit that I see on it every day, like the same people that would have like 5 or 6 accounts and they post like the same post for all 5 accounts. That shit's overrated. That shit sucks.
Oh yeah.
All right, overrated or underrated? Online gaming.
Ooh, definitely underrated. There's too many good online games that people have not yet to play. Like I still have to get through like Dead by Daylight. I have not played that yet, but it's a hell of a good game, and I wish I had gotten into it when everyone else did, so it wasn't spoiled for me.
So it wasn't spoiled, bro. You're gonna be playing that by yourself. Like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think even Freddy Krueger, Chucky, and Jason will jump on a boat and ditch me if I try to hang out with them.
Sounds about right.
Because I'm a loser in the online world.
That damn right you are.
Connor's so exhausted from laughing his ass off towards me. He doesn't have any steam in the old Komodo left to give a whole.
I am so fucking tired.
Yeah, I can tell. Your
Uh,
your face looks drained, man. Like you look like you
yeah,
just like chugged an entire like jar of like coffee with like no water or anything, just the straight up like coffee crumbs or whatever.
just the grounds.
Yeah, pretty much.
Literally just like eating this bag of coffee over here by the spoonful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna say underrated. I'm gonna say underrated, and it's purely for one thing. Black Ops 2 lobbies.
Oh, yes.
Now, Black Ops 2 lobbies were their own thing. It is still one, hands down, one of my most favorite games is Black Ops 2. It's the only I would not pay $60 for it like the Xbox store wants me to, but if it went on sale, I muscles. I swear to God.
Muscles. You're like muscles. Come on now.
Muscles. It was in that lobby that you could have been called the N-word
Oh,
by anybody.
wow.
Anybody. Now, I'm not saying that that's a good thing, but when you're 10 years old and someone starts saying that because you forgot to shut the microphone off on your TV, that's when it's funny.
Yeah.
So, all right, uh I've got two more.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Let's make them good ones.
Overrated or underrated? A mall.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, oh fuck, I don't know if I can even like answer that one, dude. That's so difficult because I hardly ever go to the mall, and even when I do, it's like I can't say I don't have a hell of a fun time just walking around even if I'm not shopping. But when I do shop, I go into a frenzy, and that's fun as hell too. Especially if I go to the Walden Galleria and go to Dave and Buster's and shit. That's fun as hell. So I don't know. I guess like probably. All right, I'll just pick because I don't even know. Underrated.
Great. I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Okay, let's hear it.
Amazon.
Oh yeah, Amazon. Yeah. I mean, see, that's the thing. I use Amazon too. I just bought a Kindle Fire for like $40 even off Amazon. It was perfect.
the last day that I go to Dave and Buster's is going to be the day when I buy one of those like 500 in one like gaming machines and put it in my basement. That's going to be the last day I go to Dave and Buster's
Yep.
because I could just DoorDash wings to my house and then just sit in my basement and play old arcade games.
Yeah.
Um, that's my kind of heaven right there.
Oh yeah.
Um, anyways, now for those of you that don't know, and I should add this before we do the last one because I'm saving this one for the last one. We usually add a a crime into the lineup of the overrated or underrated because it's really fucking funny if you say underrated.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, Alex, with your job at
McDonald's.
McDonald's and maybe somewhere else soon, overrated or underrated? Tax fraud.
Um, Underrated for sure because the jobs that I've had, dude, like with the taxes and
So
everything,
what you're saying is it is underrated to not pay your taxes.
oh, shit. Well, when you say it like that, when you say it like that, it sounds bad. Um, but well, I guess like no, I mean I'm cool paying my taxes and stuff. It's just unfortunate that like, you know, how some of those taxes they can really just punch off a lot of that check of yours.
Yeah, yeah. So overrated, tax fraud, overrated.
Yeah.
Because I pay taxes.
Yes.
All right. So with that, we're gonna move on to one more segment that on the list does that is another one of my favorites. Alex, you'll like this one.
Yes.
Um, so we'll be back after another short break. All right, this is the last on the list thing that we're gonna do before we switch over to whatever the fuck that is.
Hey, look, guys, I'm out list.
Where do you draw the line is the game that we're gonna play. And basically it's where do you draw the line? I draw the line at sunglasses.
Well, see, that's funny because when I drew the line at sunglasses, it was when I put my sunglasses up like this and I winked at a beautiful girl.
That joke took way too long.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a bummer. Whoops.
Anyways, where do you draw the line? The dollar amount of concert tickets.
I draw the line when I spent my last ticket on drinks.
On concert tickets.
On concert tickets. Yeah, like I switched in like a concert ticket for drinks, so because it was so cheap. Oh man, I fucked this up. I think the sunglasses are throwing me off. I'm just gonna take those off. All right, there we go.
What
I'm
the
all
fuck?
focused now. Yeah.
A dollar amount on concert tickets.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I know. I draw the line if it's Taylor Swift concert.
I draw the line at $60. That's where I draw the line. Um,
Uh, yeah.
uh, how far do you drive before asking the passenger for gas money?
All the way across the country.
Holy shit.
Yep. All the way from New York to Washington.
I'm gonna say like 30 minutes. Like
That's reasonable.
anything less than that, fine. But like anything more than that, dude, you gotta like give me something. Gas ain't free.
Yeah.
Um, the amount of time picking where to eat.
I'm trying to pick where to eat. How about you? Can you go first on that one? Because I gotta think of it real quick.
Great, 10 minutes. What's yours?
Oh, for me, it's 30 seconds.
Thir
Yeah,
30
whatever
seconds.
pops up on Google first, that's where I go.
I just DoorDash everything.
Oh yeah,
So if I can't decide in 10 minutes, I just close the app and then like wait an hour and then
yeah. When I
try
get
again.
Yeah, when I get too indecisive, I just like go off the phone, just walk straight to the nearest Pizza Hut that's right around the corner from my house.
All right. The temperature on someone else's thermostat before getting up and leaving.
72.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It depends on the time of year. If
Yeah.
it's the summer and your house is in the mid 80s and it is 90 outside,
Yeah.
I'm literally just gonna be like, what the fuck, and
Yeah.
walk out the door.
Yeah, seriously.
Now, for you frozen jackasses, um,
Frozen jackasses. They should do a crossover between like the Jackass franchise and the Frozen franchise. Frozen jackasses. Hey guys, I'm Johnny Knoxville and I'm gonna build a snowman.
and it's like a retarded snowman.
Yeah. And it has like just a giant icicle penis and balls sticking out.
Yeah. Anyways, my house in the winter is 65 degrees.
Ooh.
Now, in my house, 65 degrees on the first floor is 65 degrees. 65 degrees on the second floor is a hopeful 40 because the second floor of my house has no insulation. So whatever it is outside is what it is inside. So fuck
Yeah,
you.
I'm just
um
look,
so
I
whatever it
gave
is
you the bird,
outside.
Connor. I gave you the bird. Hey, go ahead, please, sir.
So
Continue.
whatever it is outside is what it is inside. So I the crazy thing about me is I would rather be, well, I wouldn't say it's crazy, but in terms of like winter um compared to like summer, I'd rather be too cold than too hot.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Because even during the
So
winter, I can still like have like cool AC and still be fine, just as long as it's like at least like the round the range you said compared to like the 30s.
fuck, like if I'm cold, I put on a sweatshirt.
Yeah, same.
So
I
what?
put Yep, I put
Like
on a hoodie or long jammas.
in the summer, what do? You get arrested for taking clothes off.
Yeah. I mean, I almost got caught streaking once because it was just that hot out. I walked all the way from Niagara Falls to Buckhorn Island, and I almost stripped to my underwear before someone came like, yo, what are you doing? Put your pants on. They're gonna arrest you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Last one. How good does someone have to be at a video game before it's not fun anymore?
To the point where they could simultaneously eat an entire foot-long sub from Subways while mashing the buttons with like three fingers, like beating someone in Mortal Kombat 11.
If they can kick my ass with one finger, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah. No, because at that point it's like they're already into the AI system. It's like their body's already like pre-programmed to run into like the database of the Xbox or PS4.
Yeah. All right. So that was where I draw the line. Um, Alex, I think your anniversary episode is probably coming to a close.
Yes. So with that, we're going to move straight to social media handles for Connor, so both of our combined followers and listeners can add him.
All right. So my handle for those watching the video is right here. But for those of you listening, Alex, I'm gonna flip you off so hard as soon as I
I'm
stop
doing
this. Um,
doing sign language, Connor. I'm speaking to the audience.
Not only are you not doing that for video, you aren't doing that for audio either. That's
Oh,
not helping you at
hey
all.
guys, you know what this means in Connor? What this means in Connor? You know what this means in sign language? Yes, Connor's full of shit. I'm just kidding. We know you're not full of shit. I'm full of shit.
Yes, you are. All right.
Anyways, and I
So,
fair enough to admit it. Go ahead.
so my personal one is C Donnellan 5. Um, I'm sure Alex will put that in the episode description as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Usually I just post it on Instagram, but for this one, because it's a special, I'll definitely post it in the caption or description, whichever.
and then you could follow the on the list one. That one is just on the list pod on Instagram. We like to post a handful of things there from time to time. Um, so it's not as active as, like Spotify for us or YouTube for us is. Um, but YouTube, you had in the search bar, it will not come up otherwise for some weird reason. You actually have to type on the list the bullet points. It will take you to some gun-loving place if you just put the bullet points or you just put on the list. It has to be on the list, the bullet points. Then
Sure.
you'll find us. Um, but that's where you can find me. That's usually where I post all my stupid fucking nonsense. Um,
Awesome.
Usually
Well,
I bitch in an Instagram story once in a while, but
hey,
you know,
everyone loves a bitch, or I sure certainly love to bitch. So, along with that, on a serious note, do you have any advice you'd like to leave for the audience or even myself, just like life advice on anything?
I, I wouldn't say it's advice. You can take it as advice. It's up to you on how you take it, but I'd say it's more of a suggestion.
Okay.
Stop taking yourself too seriously. You will find you will find that you see a lot more things in a more comedic kind of way. Like say like you just like as an example, you drop something on the floor. Okay, like drop something on the floor.
Sure.
That's your fifth thing that you dropped on the floor today.
Yeah.
Feel free to just be like, well, I can't fucking hold anything today now, can I? It
I-
makes you laugh. It makes
Yeah.
you laugh, and then you just don't think about it anymore.
Mm,
The less you take yourself seriously, and this is where personally I have found that it's better for me mentally. The less you take yourself seriously, the less hard on yourself you're gonna be.
That is great
That's
advice.
my advice.
I can definitely like speak from experience with that too. Whenever I do try to make things more fun, it definitely brings me upbeat. Like even on those days where I had my depression was really bad. As for my advice, everyone just stick to your resume, keep up your social pipelines like I am, because now that I've got my social life back up with Connor and my other good friends, I've been doing so much better since my depression is like almost completely gone. And now I have a purpose and a fat, I can't even speak. I'm like, But
I still
anyways,
can't speak as
now
fuck.
that I
Jesus.
have like thou canst not speaks thy English. So now that I have a new path forward in life, knowing what I want to do, I think I'll have a good spot and charisma for it. And so I think everyone else will wherever they want to go. And anything else you'd like to say, Connor?
Well, once again, happy third anniversary.
Thank you, Connor.
Um, speaking from experience of a show that's currently in its fifth season, it the second that like you're doing your show, doesn't matter how you do it, from comedy to entertainment to education to 1 minute stand-up bits, as long as you enjoy it, it doesn't feel like a chore.
Oh,
That's my advice for you specifically, is as long as you enjoy it, it does not feel like a chore.
yeah.
The
And
the second you start questioning yourself about doing it, the less that you're going to want to do it.
well, Connor, you were definitely a posthumous character in this Alex Ferraro podcast universe. So kudos again to you, because if there wasn't you, then there probably wouldn't be an Alex Ferraro show to begin with. And other than that, if Connor doesn't have anything else to say, I'll say this was the 3-year anniversary special of the Alex Ferraro Show, as well as a crossover episode between the Alex Ferraro Show and On the List Pod, something that has been in development hell for about 2 years. So I'm glad we could
Long
finally make it
time.
happen.
A
Yeah,
long
way too
time.
long. But I'm so glad we made it happen because it's so good and everyone's gonna love listening to it.
Yeah. I appreciate you letting me come back and be a another side character.
Yeah.
Um, if you enjoyed the little bits of the on the list stuff, we've got plenty of more bullshit throughout our entire feed. Um, like every third episode is usually a really good one. So like start at the bottom, listen to the first one, and then listen to like the fourth one, and then the eighth one, and then like the 11th one. So they're usually, it's weird like that, but if you want a real idea of how that podcast is, that's my suggestion. So um so because this fucking has so much alcohol in it, um to 3 more years.
3 more years. Cheers, cheers.
Cheers.
And although I don't have my edible drink, I'm still just drinking water because it's still just as good. Because for those of you who don't know, I can't drink any alcohol since I take the medicinal marijuana. It's not good to like cross like THC with alcohol. So
Thanks
speaking
for
from
sharing.
experience, yeah, you're welcome. But yeah, hey man, like there will be many more years for sure, and we definitely have a lot more crossovers to do. And my one dream is like eventually our podcast becomes so successful that we get offered a contract by like NPR or Sirius or something, and then that can be like our career or something. Like we get our own podcast on like a high radio station.
Fuck, we aren't getting anything from NPR.
How long do you think it took Howard Stern to get on Sirius XM?
Probably, I mean, it took a while, but considering the amount of F-bombs we've done just in this episode alone, we
Yeah.
aren't getting on NPR.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. But yeah, I definitely look forward to doing more podcasts like this one. And when the time comes, I'll definitely ask you to be a co-anchor for some episodes because I have some really good ideas on some like fun skits that we could do just to like kick it up a little bit while keeping it educational. And
Like
I know
putting your
you'll,
shirt on.
yeah, like putting a shirt on. There we go. So people don't have to see King Kong over here like flexing like an ape. Now Connor can't unsee that image.
No, and I'm gonna have
He,
to look at it again while I edit it.
and he's gonna have to make a meme out of it. U.S. history people will be like,
My fucking God.
you know it's true. Some people really like act like apes in those U.S. classes, U.S. history classes. Okay. Yep, so this was the crossover of the Alex Ferraro Show and Connor Janellen, as well as being the 3-year anniversary of the Alex Ferraro Show. So everyone have a blessed tonight and a wonderful tomorrow.